It's a simple wooden board, decorated with the alphabet, numbers, and the words yes, no, and goodbye. To some, it's nothing more than a parlor game. To others, it's a dangerous tool that opens a door to forces we cannot control. Over the last century, the Ouija board has terrified families, fascinated skeptics, and fueled some of the most chilling legends in modern history. Tonight, we'll uncover the true story of the Ouija board, where it came from, how it rose to popularity, and why so many believe it connects our world to the other side. From its innocent beginnings to its reputation as a tool of the devil, this is a journey into history, mystery, and the unknown. The year was 1848. In a small farmhouse in Hydesville, New York, two teenage sisters, Margaret and Kate Fox, claimed they could communicate with the dead. At night, strange rapping sounds echoed through their home. When they asked questions, the raps responded. Word spread quickly, and soon the Fox sisters were performing demonstrations, communicating with spirits in front of stunned audiences. Whether it was real or an elaborate trick didn't matter. People were mesmerized. In a time when death was everywhere, when diseases claimed lives suddenly, and medical science offered few answers, the promise of speaking to loved ones beyond the grave was irresistible. Thus began Spiritualism, a movement that swept across America and Europe. Séances became fashionable, with families and friends gathering in darkened rooms, waiting for knocks, taps, and messages from beyond the veil. But there was a problem. Spirits, it seemed, were often slow to answer, and the living grew impatient. People wanted a faster, clearer way to communicate with the dead. By the 1880s, Spiritualism had millions of followers. Newspapers reported a strange invention spreading across Ohio, a so-called talking board. It was simple: letters, numbers, a few words, and a small wooden pointer called a planchette. Sit with friends, place your fingers lightly on the planchette, and the spirits would guide your hands to spell out their messages. Entrepreneurs quickly saw the potential. In 1890, a businessman named Charles Kennard and his lawyer Elijah Bond patented the device. It wasn't just a homemade tool anymore. It was now a commercial product. But there was one problem. What to call it? According to legend, when asked what the board should be named, the spirits themselves spelled out the word Ouija. Some believed it was simply the French and German words for yes combined. But others claimed the word came directly from the other side, and that it meant good luck. Whatever the truth, the name stuck, and so the Ouija board was born. The Ouija board was marketed not as a spiritual tool, but as a parlor game, something to bring friends and families together. Its ads showed smiling young couples asking questions about their future. Would they fall in love? Would they be rich? The board seemed to have all the answers. But while it was sold as entertainment, it became something much deeper for many. During World War I, when families were grieving soldiers lost in battle, sales soared. Then came the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, which killed more than 50 million people worldwide. the Ouija board offered grieving families a way, or at least the illusion of a way, to speak with those they had lost. By the 1920s, Ouija boards were outselling even Monopoly. In living rooms across America, planchettes slid across the boards as people searched desperately for connection, comfort, and meaning in a world full of uncertainty. But with popularity came darker stories. Families reported strange occurrences after using the board, objects moving on their own, whispers in the night, and messages that turned threatening. Some claimed the board predicted deaths that later came true. Others believed malevolent entities had been invited into their homes. Church leaders quickly condemned the Ouija board. Priests called it a tool of the devil, warning that every use opened a door that might never close. For the faithful, the board was not a game. It was a dangerous act of summoning. And indeed, some of the stories are chilling. Tales of planchettes spelling out violent threats, or boards refusing to stop moving even when no one touched them. Accounts of possessions, hauntings, and curses tied to nothing more than a simple game box. Whether these stories were truth, exaggeration, or the result of suggestible minds, they gave the Ouija board an aura of danger that only fueled its popularity further. For decades, the Ouija board straddled the line between family pastime and dangerous occult tool. But in 1973, everything changed. That year, the horror film The Exorcist shocked audiences worldwide. In the movie, young Regan McNeil begins her descent into possession. After casually playing with a Ouija board, the message was clear. The board was no game. It was an invitation to evil. The impact was immediate. Sales of Ouija boards skyrocketed, but so did fear. For an entire generation, the Ouija board was no longer a toy you played with at sleepovers. It was something sinister, something that could destroy your soul. Hollywood kept the trend alive, featuring the board in countless horror films, each one reinforcing its image as a gateway to terror. Even today, the Ouija board continues to divide opinion. Paranormal investigators use it in abandoned asylums, hoping to capture proof of spirits. Teenagers bring it out at parties, daring each other to ask forbidden questions. And time and again, stories emerge of terrifying encounters. Scientists dismiss the phenomenon as the ideomotor effect. Tiny, unconscious muscle movements that guide the planchette without anyone realizing it. To them, the Ouija board is nothing more than psychology at work. But believers aren't convinced. They argue that if it's just unconscious movement, how does the board reveal things no one at the table should know? How does it leave people feeling watched, haunted, or even cursed? Whether psychological trick or supernatural doorway, the board continues to terrify those who use it. From its humble beginnings in the age of spiritualism to its mass production as a party game, and its transformation into one of the most feared objects in popular culture, the Ouija board has never been just a piece of wood. It is a mirror, reflecting our deepest fears, our longing for connection, and our curiosity about what lies beyond death. Some see it as harmless entertainment, others see it as an invitation to darkness. But one thing is certain. When you place your hands on the planchette, you never truly know who or what might answer. Thank you for watching The Dark and Strange. Please like, subscribe, and comment.